to this Trade Along live session with Saul. We're here on a daily basis, actively scalping the S&P 500 E-mini based on pre-mapped out levels and zones. We call it Trade Along Live with Saul because Saul is your wingman during the morning session. Saul provides you with his proprietary scalping levels. We're looking to do 2, 3, 4, 5 trades during the morning session. We're looking to bank our money early, in other words, during the morning session, and be finished for the day. So think about that for a second. We're here on a daily basis. Saul is here. He's a 25-year veteran trader. He's been trading the S&P 500 E-mini for a long time. He started out in the bond pit, the trading pits in Chicago. He honed his skill. He developed a technique, which is his ability to set key levels that he counts on based on his trading. But he does make adjustments based on the action of price because nothing is static and nothing is fixed. So the concept here is how do you, as an attendee in this service, do better in your trading on a daily basis than you otherwise would do without Saul. So he set up the service because he was asked by a number of individuals who knew him from the trading floor, can you help my cousin, nephew, brother, sister, relative to trade like you, Saul, because you're a very good trader? And Saul said no for many moons, and then eventually we got here, which is an opportunity for individuals through what we call the Trade Along Trading Academy to learn directly from Saul, have Saul take you under his wing and teach you how to trade, how he trades, and how he makes his money. So what he does is what I'm describing. So when he comes to his computer in the morning, he flips everything on, he puts up his trading platform and his charts, and then right around the cash open, he sets his key areas for this morning's trade. Pivot, other levels on top and bottom of that pivot. In this Trade Along Live session, as part of this service, Saul gives those levels out to you in audio after he sets them. He has loaded them into his software for his morning trade. He calls them levels and zones because after the cash open, he likes to validate what is happening based on the validity of his levels and zones for this morning's trade. Now, what I'm describing to you is what he teaches you in his course and his mentoring work. In his private class time with you, if or when you sign up for Saul's mentoring class held in the Trade Along Trading Academy. That's tradealongtradingacademy.com. There's a description of what is offered. And what's offered is two things. One is this standalone Trade Along Live session where Saul is your guide, mentor, provides you with his proprietary scalping levels, and then you go through the morning session with him looking to trade in and around those levels and zones based on trade action and price action, banking a minimum trading profit, looking to bank a minimum trading profit on each trade of 2 points plus. You have a defensive position generally of 2 points, which is pretty tight. And the bands, and I call them bands, 2 point stop, 2 point plus minimum profit target. Those are the bands based on Saul's trades. Now he'll expand those bands based on the action of price during a particular trading day. Momentum, follow through, how his levels are behaving, how the market is behaving. He likes to stay away from economic releases. Every once in a while there's a surprise here and there, so stops are important. This is all taught in the Trading Academy. That's really interesting because that's a daily opportunity to bank money for yourself. It's a daily opportunity for Saul to bank money for himself but it's based on a price action trading methodology. So in this service, we'll break it up. This Trade Alone live session is for traders that know what they're doing and are looking for better levels, Sol's proprietary scalping levels and zones, equal better trades. If your levels are better than the standardized levels that are spoon-fed by software, calculated levels that everybody else is banging their heads on during the trading day, if Sol's levels are standouts, which I think you'll quickly pick up on, then now you have a trading advantage against your other traders out there, your fellow traders out in the trading world. Zero-sum game, they got to lose money for you to make money. You want to be on the winning side of that, not the losing side of that, more consistently than the other guy or the other gal. So that's what this Trade Along Live standalone subscription service is an opportunity for traders that know what they're doing and work the market during the morning session in and around Sol's pre-mapped out levels and zones for today's session, the next day's session, the next day's session, based on when the market's open, trading days, from the hours of 9 a.m. to 12 noon, where the action of trade is between 9:30 and 11:30 a.m. Sol likes to be done. In other words, he calls done having banked his money. You know, my theory, and this is my personal one, if you're not making 500 to 1,000 a day trading, then what's the point? Now, adding additional contracts, upping your contract size is an opportunity to do better based on the trades that you do and do well. When you expand your bands to take more than 2 points plus on your profit target, then you have an opportunity to make more money based on what you're doing. But the concept here is not a piker's game. It's an opportunity for individuals that know the difference between gambling and professional gambling. The concept of going to screens and being prepared for the day versus not being prepared for the day. Going to your screens where you are set up, confident, and ready for the market and price action that comes in after the cash open, and have the discipline first of Sol's proprietary scalping levels, and then also the discipline of waiting for the market to come to you so that you're not chasing the market after the bell. Frankly, a lot of traders do. They wait around for something to happen and they'll end up chasing the market. And they end up getting squished based on the trade action and price action that happens and the emotion that comes up with individuals that are chasing the market. So this Trade Along Live service was set up. We call it Trade Along Live with Sol. Sol is your host. He's a 25-year veteran. He's the active, daily trader. He is trading based on a price action discipline for his own trading. You could have another discipline for your trading. As long as it's working for you, that's great. I always say, and it's my opinion, if you come to the end of the morning session here, the body of the trading between 9:30 and 11:30, you get to 11:30 and you haven't banked your money for the day, or you haven't had a good day trading, and it's not the market's fault, based on some weird thing that might have happened, then you need to go into training. You need to go into the academy. You need to learn from Sol to take you from what you've got based on your current trade. Let's say you got none. It's a great start, because then Sol gets to set you off on the right foot. There are traders that come in that don't even have a trading platform. We help them get set up. We have traders that come in here that don't know anything, and we help them get set up and moving in the right direction. We got traders that just say, Sol, teach me. I want to learn. I want to do what you do. Sol takes them into private class. He teaches them, schools them, tunes them up, has them come into this Trade Along Live session as a proving ground and an access point to him, as you, as an individual, are applying your newfound trading skills. So that's what happens here every day. The Trading Academy is a unique situation because it's done in Zoom, where you can communicate directly with Saul with your headset and your microphone, or a headset and a microphone, the camera, the ability to share your charts. He can share his charts, and you can get close when it comes to the ability of the relationship between a mentor and a student, a mentoree and a student. No, I'm sorry, what is it? Saul is the mentor, and you would be the mentoree. I don't even think mentoree is a real word. I did try to look it up one time. It kept coming up on like spell check or something. But anyway, the point is that you're here, we hope, to develop consistent profitability in your trading or gain an advantage over other traders based on Saul's levels and zones and his ability to work the morning session with you as you interact with him. He interacts with you, and you have a conversation based on the action of price in and around his levels and the concept of putting trades on here and not there. And that's a dialogue that happens between you and he, during the morning session. So think about that for a second. You've got two wings or two opportunities based on this service. You've got the standalone opportunity, trade along live session. You've got the combo, which is being taught, schooled, honed, updated, tweaked in the academy, and then bring that skill set into this trade along live session, apply it, and then based on those trades, the action of price, Saul's levels and zones, you work your trades, and you can communicate back and forth with Saul during the morning session, and then spend time with him in the private Zoom classroom, the mentoring room, and ask questions and follow up about what happened today, and receive answers based on the reality of somebody being in it with you. So think about that for a second. Saul is trading. He's quite possibly taking action in and around the levels and zones that you have and you share with him. He shares with you. And now the action of price has happened, and you can ask him, hey, I was looking at this level. This is what I did. This is where I went in. This is where I placed my stop. And this is my exit strategy. How did you do? Did you do well? Do you need some tweaking? Is it a trade to be complimented on? Great. If it's not, then you have an individual that can guide you, tweak you, and adjust you based on his reality, Saul's reality, in and around that same level. And now you have a very powerful teaching moment. And then during that dialogue, Saul also picks up. Saul is a person just like everybody else. He likes this setup because he likes people. He also likes to help people, but he also likes to be involved mentally so that he is also current, up to date. In other words, he has to think about what's happening, why it's happening, not just reacting. Because you can get into a slump. Saul likes the idea of having people part of his world, and he befriends them, and they become part of his trading world. And that's good for him. It's good for you. It's good for everybody. So it's interesting to me because quite often individuals ask, why in the world does Saul do this stuff? Why doesn't he just trade and be off in Fiji somewhere? Well, I guess the first answer is he's got family in Chicago. I guess the second answer is that he doesn't like to be alone when it comes to his trading. He's used to having people around him. I think it makes him a better trader to do this. He's able to walk and chew gum at the same time, have a conversation and be trading. and interacting and being part of the flow. And he's got a nice group of individuals that have been here with him that you'll hear from time to time. We just had Don on this morning from Texas, the great state of Texas. Mark is off enjoying his trading break because he can. And, we've got other individuals that help out from time to time, and we appreciate them all. And it's interesting because we've had people here. Saul has had individuals that have been part of his world for a long time. Remember, he started in the trading pit. Well, may not know this, but part of Saul's history is he started in the trading pits many moons ago when they didn't have computers in the pit. Think about that. And then he grew up trading up against what I consider the best traders in the world. And he mastered his craft against them, in and around them. He survived. And one of the ways he did that was learning how to set these levels. He learned that the market will take action at certain levels. It will repeat the action. And he remembered it in his head. Now he's utilizing that same technique now, and individuals are clamoring to get him to teach them how to do it. And that's part of the academy. So he gives them out in audio. Individuals just pay for the right to receive his levels on a daily basis because they believe they're that good. So they pay him for the right to receive them. And that's what we do every day. So your opportunity as individuals is to review the website, and I'll send it out to everybody now. And then I'll also send out that exploding offer that he had for the Trade Along Live session. And it's really up to you to take action based on what you're looking for. New trader, experienced traders, the whole Megillah. So this is out to the website. Review the website, take the time, sign up for what you're looking for the trading education, the trading mentoring. It bundles with access to this service. But remember, that includes the teaching part, right? The mentoring, the interaction, the personal time, the schooling, the tweaking, the adjusting. This is a offer that he has out right now. And this offer is just for the Trade Along Live session. So if you have any interest in that, I would take a moment and sign up for it. We've got individuals that come in and end up not paying or whatever, you know what I mean? And then they drag it on. Next couple days here, as we go through the new year and into next week, we're going to start to weed those people out. If they decide to stay, great. If they decide to go, great. I would, if you're interested in staying, take advantage of this private offer. It's not available on the website. Okay, this is just a private offer to you. Kent, let me know what you're doing. Love to have you. All signed up and part of Saul's course and his mentoring work. Right now, I have you reserved as one of the 6. So let me know if anything has changed. You might have texted me already. I just wasn't paying attention to the text in the background. Yeah, and I think it's interesting, and that's a good point, Ken. I just saw that you can set your schedule based on your schedule with Saul on a personal level. So I think it's more important that you sign up and hook up with him based on the mentoring, and then work out your time with him based on your private Zoom time with him, and then figure out the extra details after that, as long as you're in. Hey, Jocelyn, let me know what you're looking to do. Christoph, same. Oshman, Paul, Rodney, Hey, Roop, how are you? Jose, welcome. So, we're rolling into 22 here. We appreciate everybody being here and being part of Saul's World. No, Ken, he's not here today. This was a day to wrap up the individuals that are looking to sign up for his mentoring for next year.
I have charts.
How did you get them done?
I don't know. I pressed the right button. I have no idea.
Well, that's the miracle of your phone probably overheard your conversation and sent a message into the right people,
We'll take it.
right? And the ninjas went into your machine and they took care of you. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't care. It's working.
Well, welcome back to Chartland. So, Kent, let me know, because if you're coming in, come on in. If you're not coming in, that's okay. Just release your spot. I know Saul's excited to work with you, and you'd be welcome to do it. Rodney, how are you? And Rodney, how can we help you? So the strategy this service is broken up into two opportunities. One is this Trade Along Live session, and it's really for those that have a trading strategy. And then we have the Trading Academy, which we work with traders and teach them a price action trading methodology. So the Academy is set up for traders that have a trading strategy that they are unhappy with or that needs a tune-up. And for new traders that don't have a strategy, Saul would teach. Saul is your host and mentor. He's the 25-year veteran of the trading pits in Chicago. He's trading and scalping the S&P 500 E-mini intraday for his own trading account. And he's also taking individual traders like yourself under his wing in a private Zoom room and taking you from either a new trader or an experienced trader and looking to help you develop a trading strategy. In Saul's case, he'd be teaching you a price action trading strategy, which is a tried and true strategy. It is focused on where the action of price is and key levels. In this case, these are Saul's proprietary scalping levels, and then the action of price in and around those levels. So he actually takes you under his wing and teaches you how to set his proprietary scalping levels as an advantage over other traders, and then what to do with the levels, the entries, exits, and stops. What do you do when you come into a level? The market price action changes in the S&P 500 E-mini. As that changes, what do you do as it comes into a particular price? You go short, where you can make money when the market is going down, or you could go long and make money on the upside. Now, it's interesting because there are setups from price action perspective to put that trade on, entry price, short or long. Where do you place your stop? Defending your capital and defending that trade. And then there's an exit strategy. So you should have that set up and in your head as you come into a level. as the market price change in the S&P 500 E-mini comes into a level. That's what Saul teaches you in private class. And then he adjusts and tweaks you based on your application of his strategy, based on the action of price that happens during that trade. It's a very straightforward and simple approach to making money trading without all the trappings of standardized software, the bells and whistles, the crosses, time frames, the charting, all the crazy stuff that, and I guess just say frankly, it's my opinion, and it may become your opinion, or it may have already become your opinion, is that trading platforms and trading software are filled with a history of all sorts of indicators, all sorts of lines, moving averages, all the trappings of hope. And I consider standardized software a false friend of traders because it sets you up with the idea that you can now sit in front of a computer and make money trading, and that you'll be okay in doing that. Unfortunately, the failure rate in trading, no matter what you're doing, is really high. I would say it's in the high 90 percentile that most people that come into trading fall victim to the slot machine, which is your standardized software. Now, there really isn't much difference between software. They all pile in all the free stuff to get you to pay the rate on a monthly basis to get it. It all looks pretty cool. It all ties together. And really smart people are all really smart, right? We get sucked into the trappings and think that now we have these tools, we can mentalize on the tools and bend them to your will to make money. In my opinion, that is not the case. My opinion is that the concepts of action of price in and around pre-mapped out levels that you can count on is a real great way to throw that other stuff overboard and concentrate on what matters, which is the action of price, and then your ability to put a trade on, price, exit strategy. Where are you going to exit the trade? Are you going to cover some, hold on to others? And what's your defensive position, your stop? And if you can learn that, then you've mastered your craft. Saul is here. The Trading Academy is here to take new traders in, teach them, mentor them, school them, and then they come into this side of the equation, the Trade Along Live session, as a proving ground, a critique area, a testing opportunity for your newfound trading skills, and then the follow-up from your mentor on how you did based on that particular trade. The why. You did it this way, that way, that way. Great. Or you could have done it this way, and that way, and that's a teaching moment that you can now apply to the next trade. So that's the beauty of the opportunity, is to be taken under somebody's wing and taught, and then supported in the application of what you're learning, which is very rare. And it shouldn't be taken lightly. And it really is the difference between playing around, being a gambler and you have your money at risk, and being a professional gambler and having control and discipline based on your craft. And that's what we do every day. So hopefully that explains a lot, because there's a lot that goes on out there that that really is attractive. That's why I call it a one-armed bandit. from a casino, because there's an awful lot going on in there, and then it's just you spitting your money in and paying commissions. And I mean, think about it this way: you really don't trade every day, especially if the market's not giving you what you're looking for based on your discipline. A lot of people sit in front of a computer, and because they've decided that they are a trader for whatever reason, and this is their new endeavor to make money, that they feel compelled to put trades on, which is really a disaster for people that are trading. You should be disciplined enough to know the difference between a good trading day and a bad trading day, when to be involved. And then depending on the day, there are days where the fish just jump in your boat because you know what you're doing. Or there are days where you got to really work it based on the action of price. There are days when your risk profile can expand, or there are days where you need to contract it for your own safety. That stuff isn't just learned. I mean, people say if I had enough money, I could learn to do this. I mean, the best way to people say, wow, I made $1 million, but they started out at $2 million. There's no guarantee that you're going to hold on to your nest egg, your trade egg. I guess I shouldn't call it a nest egg. You should only be using risk capital in your trading, capital that you can lose without the impact on your life. Having said that, that's between you and your broker, and you and your broker, because they're registered, we're not registered. But the point is that you need to step up and learn the game. You need to step up between being a gambler to a professional gambler, or not. That's up to you. But that's the offer. So the Academy has the ability to learn, be schooled, and the Trade On Live session is a supplement to that, or it's a standalone for individuals that already have a trading methodology and they'd like to have Sol as their wingman and guide for the session, and they really appreciate Sol's levels. His pivot, his levels on top and bottom of that pivot. Go ahead there, Don.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to post these to the room?
Not if he's not here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because then you'll end up having to work them and all sorts of crazy stuff, and I'd rather have it when he's here.
Okay.
And then you guys are working it together. It's interesting because he really does like to have you guys on this side of the equation. You know what I mean? He likes you in as a host, baby.
You run out of stuff to talk about.
Listen, I know, right? Well, I think it's interesting because there's a lot of time in between waiting for the market to come to you. That's a patience game. So a lot of people don't have the patience to wait. A lot of times Sol is jawboning about interesting stuff, but it's really a distraction from him so that he doesn't overtrade or get involved in trades he shouldn't be in.
Yep.
And I don't think people realize that sometimes they pop in and there's conversation going on and they're like, well, why aren't we trading? What do we do?
Oh, we're watching.
You're watching you're waiting for the market to come into your level. And then you need to know what you're going to do at that level based on, your pre-formatted entries, exits, and stops. Before you get in a trade, you have an idea what your exit is.
Yep.
And the why you're getting into that trade. It's not just a willy-nilly situation. That's why I always say it becomes an art form. We get to a certain point in your trading, you just feel it.
Well, a lot of the folks, they don't realize that, look, the course, yes, he shows us how to get the levels and how to utilize them and stuff on that nature. But he also shows you how to trade between the levels. They don't see that part. And it's to trade that price action that's coming through there.
Right, sure. And that's a taught experience. That's an interesting, and that's a follow-up experience because the questions that are asked after, that trade, or that session are the important ones.
Yeah.
Because you're being, and I guess it really comes down to, it's the same thing. When you're in it, when you have a vested interest in what happens based on your own trading, and you're trading in and around the same levels that are pre-mapped out, then when you get an answer from Sol or get an answer from you, right? It's interesting because you're giving them an answer based on all of the above and the emotion.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal.
It is.
And that's a unique teaching tool. And that's why I say it becomes an art form, because you start to see the patterns. You know what I mean? You start to almost be the pattern, but you have to get there first.
Yeah.
And that takes awareness, concentration, the willingness to learn, and it's about money.
Yep.
There's so many people out there that could be helped if they were serious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I used to tell people a few moons ago that if Sol was your uncle, what would you do to, like you had a desire to make money and be free and all sorts of stuff. What would you say to your uncle to get him to teach you what to do? And then work with you to get you to be the best you can be based on your trading.
I've got some grandkids. They'll ask me something every now and then. And I said, I'd be glad to teach you. And that's about as far as it ever gets. You got to have a desire to do this. You got to want to do it.
And that's just like in anything. I keep asking my daughter what she wants to do. Like she has many opportunities. And I said, every time I try to talk about it, you clam up, to her.
Yeah.
She's just a great kid, right?
Yeah.
And she says, because I don't know what I want to do.
Tell her join the club.
Right? I just don't know what.
I don't know what I want to do. So.
But she hasn't learned that part yet. But it's funny. I've had a nice, 3-second conversation with her on the subject.
Yeah.
And then I realized I can't, just the same thing. You've got to reach out and ask for help.
Yeah.
And then you actually have to follow up. Not just, one time. You have to be inquisitive. You have to be interested. You have to, be motivated. And that each individual is different. We have people that come in and just go, hey, I've been here for X number of times. I was very quiet in the background, but I'm ready to go now because I like Sol. I trust him. He puts his, you could see pretty quickly if he's all wet.
Yeah.
Right? Like if he doesn't know what he's doing. But it takes some people some time. So we try to give them time. There are places you go, they throw you out right away.
Yeah.
If you don't pay or that type of thing. We try to give them some rope. Well,
I guess that's what attracted me. And I attended some webinar and he was talking. And so I said, I'll go listen to him. So I went to the room and the market was really acting crazy that day. And he's just calm and cool. It didn't matter if it was zooming up or zooming down. He's just telling you what to do. It's kind of like, I like this guy. And I've taken a lot of courses. Mark's taken a lot. There's been a lot of people in the room that have taken course after course. And some of these people, they're high volume, a lot of loud screaming and everything. I'm going, look, let's just talk about this as we're going through. We don't need all this screaming.
Yeah, it's true, right?
And it just, that's, to me, that's not calm heads.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I appreciate what you're saying. I mean, I've noticed that myself, is that a lot of it is patience and also knowing. It's one thing to know,
yeah.
right? Because you've been there, seen it, done it, and then you're here just to make your money for the few trades in the morning
Yeah.
and just be done for the day. You're finished. You don't even have to think about it anymore. And to go on in that sort of mentality when you're, let's say you're doing well, right? And then you've done well. It's like if you're up, like I guess the difference between a gambler and a professional gambler, but a professional gambler knows when to fold them, right? Or when to hold them. And that comes with years of experience and also somebody teaching you.
This market is moving. It's such even though it's kind of slow, we're moving 6, 8, 9 points easy. And so to capture 4 or 5 points out of a move, it's not really that difficult. And so, two 5-point moves, that's a $500 day right there. And so, and this thing, it exhibits a bunch of those during the day.
Yeah, and it's interesting because in this, with Sol's trading the S&P 500 E-mini, which is a futures contract, and it's been around for a long time. It's highly liquid. You can trade on the upside and the downside. And we're looking for a minimum trading profit of 2 points plus, right? So the money here is really in the leverage when it comes to adding contract size, if you're good at it. But you can also make decent money on a daily basis, obviously when you're good at it. When you're dealing in, so I had a couple of posts about Bitcoin and leverage and was it KuCoin or something? That's been on a roll. That is a whole nother world when it comes to risk taking and participation and herd mentality. I think there's a place for that. You just have to be careful, like real careful. If you get on the right side of it, great. If you get on the wrong side of it, what's the downside? Herd mentality is a thing. New issues, things that are deemed valuable for a short period of time, and greed kicks in, and you hope you're in the middle of that and out before it hurts you. But what we do here on a daily basis, so the academy, if you're interested in that type of thing, that's something that happens in the academy. This particular opportunity based on this trade along live session today with Sol is focused on the S&P 500 E-mini futures contract. And the platform for that would be like a Ninja Trader or one of the other ones out there, or even a Gina Trader, depending on where you're hailing from. But the idea is that it's a daily grind business to look to make money versus the concept of some of these tokens or coins based on the masses. I call it masses. The herd. Everybody jumps in and jumps out, and they run it up and run it down, and it's done by influencers or gurus. So that can be, dangerous from a value point of view. The concept of trading Bitcoin, through Coinbase and that type of thing is another thing, because that's a US based situation. Stuff overseas, I don't know much about. I know some Americans are restricted, or different countries are restricted based on their locality and what they can do as far as some of the exchanges out there. So it's like the Cavat Emptor, buyer beware. Just be careful out there. Research it, know what you're doing, look it up on Google, look for trusted setups. The ability to buy Bitcoin and that type of thing. I think there's a basket of different ones out there that have made it onto some of these exchanges here in the States, and they are readily available and tradable. As far as leverage and that type of thing, I don't know. But I know people are trading fractions of it all. So just be careful. If you want to learn how to trade based on price action, that's what we teach here. And Saul's focus is on the S&P 500 E-mini based on this trade along webinar. There could be other ones in the future if we found the right individual, from a teaching perspective and a trading perspective in one of our other webinar channels. Right now, the setup is with a 25-year veteran trader, veteran of the trading pits in Chicago, that takes individuals under his wing and teaches them his price action trading strategy focused on a very highly liquid derivative contract of 500 stocks that boils down to one price. Price goes up and down. You can make money on the upside and the downside. Market's going up, you can make money. Market's going down, you can make money. But it's also a risky proposition, so you have to be authorized, set up, and prepared for it.
Well, Brad, Happy New Year, my brother, and New Year's to everybody
Happy New
else.
Year! Be safe out there, okay? There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world.
Amen on that. I'm fixing to shut it down.
You got it, buddy. I'll be looking for you.
Are you going to be in tomorrow? Are you gonna
I'll do the same thing. Yeah, come in today and just make sure everybody's okay.
Okay.
I got some people that are hooking up for Saul's course, so I'll make sure they're all set up and ready to go. We'll weed out those that are on the fence, and we'll look to have a great 2022.
Yeah, I'm
amazing.
Come back in the morning.
2022.
Yeah. I know.
It's crazy, right?
I started with Saul. We were trading down in the 1600 levels. So I'm going, what are we doing up here?
Yeah, and you got to trade it just as it is, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So,
right. It's the air's pretty thin up here, but you got to take what you can get, right?
Yeah, I'll come back in the morning, check things out.
All right. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
We appreciate you, brother. Talk to you
later.
All
right, man.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. All right. I just posted a link to the website for your review. I'll send out the exploding offer that Saul has so that you have it. Hey, Dorian, no problem. It's funny. There was a time when trading futures was really darn risky when it came to, investments and investment strategies and, intraday trading. And it's interesting how coins and tokens and, Bitcoin or Ethereum, they're the flavor of the day. I do believe that there is a place for it. I have a sense and this is just my opinion only, is that a lot of these markets are controlled by a handful of people that can push it around, based on technology. So so there's caution, but that doesn't mean, if you're cautious and you want to play the game, just know the risks. Yeah, and I think it's interesting because people are doing it. I mean, you can't say anything. There are people that have come out of the craziness with money in their pocket, and that's great. I think trust on the internet is lacking generally. People can be whatever they want, and it all looks pretty darn good, and they have figured out how to manipulate people to the highest order based on psychology. And think of how much they do to us to get us to buy something, a product or a service, and they're doing the same thing with a lot of this. I think it was like 5 years ago. I might be dating myself. There were an awful lot of overseas coin offers based on companies, and I used to read their online information, and it always looked really good. I mean, they had like headshots of the most serious looking intellectuals, of their field, and all the bios and, all this. I mean, it was just polished. And, and I think, and I could be wrong, I think, most of them went by the wayside because they were all scams, but they were serious scams. Now you've got a handful of the ones that are listed on these exchanges that have caught a lot of interest. I can also remember the .com stuff where the herd mentality, things just went to the moon and back, but really went to the moon to the point where people lost, they were betting against the .coms because it was so insane and emotional. But they were betting against them for years. It wasn't just a short period of time. I mean, things were going up like $50 a day back then was a huge move, right? And that was in stocks. You've got these other things going up, I think that was a KuCoin or something, went up from 0.00000000000 like 4 to was up some crazy. I don't even know what it is today. I just read that. But I don't know. I don't have enough information to know. I don't want to. Like, I know what we do here. I know what the opportunities are for people that are serious, that take the time to learn and understand and be part of it. The other stuff I don't know. I do have a thought to go out and find some people, but you can find them on YouTube. It's not like, they'll give you the overall, hows and whys and whats, based on modern programming. And then you can set it up on your own to do it. I just don't know about where the ones that are listed that are taking that kind of jump. I don't believe they're listed on the US Coinbase or the other one. I think they're on some of the overseas exchanges, where you could pocket some money, but can you get the money back? I don't know. I don't know enough about it. So did you, so that's interesting. So how did you do? You know, because it was about that time that I was looking at some of those things and I got sort of discouraged. Maybe I shouldn't have, based on the fact that most of what I saw was phony. Well, then that's great. You know, so you should review if you want to learn the concept of trading, in this case, price action trading, which is really a fundamental in trading. If you want to learn that from somebody that is good at it, Sal's very good at it. But we let you determine that based on your decision making. So one of the keys here is to get yourself set up with a trading platform. Focus on the S&P 500 E-mini. Put up an S&P 500 E-mini chart. You know, you'll see 2 time frames for the S&P 500 E-mini and a 30-year bond chart. And set up your order entries so you have the ability to practice. As I would set up to receive Saul's levels on a daily basis, and then see how the market behaves and listen to Saul's commentary, and then ultimately take his course. Now, the discount price I posted here is a significant discount off the website for those that are like you that want to be part of the Trade Along live session first. And then if you want to upgrade out of that, that's great. Then we can help you out into the bundle, which is learning from Saul the price action methodology in private Zoom class, and then coming in here as a proving ground and an access point to him during the live market. So now, yeah, so differentiate between the stock market and this market, which is the futures market. So the futures market is this is a futures market, and we're trading the S&P 500 E-mini index. So it's the S&P 500 index and the electronic or E-mini version of that. And there are a couple of them. And that's what Saul trades himself. And that's what he teaches individual traders that are looking to learn. What it gives you is significant leverage when you're good at it. You start out with 1 and you get the you get the price action and the ability to make money on 1. And when you get good at it, in other words, when you are proficient at trading, then you raise your contracts to 2, and then maybe 5, and then maybe 10. You know, you do 10 contracts and make 2 points, it's $1,000. You can make it on the short side or the long side. There's $1,000 less fees, right? The fees to the broker, not us. Hey, Kent, I'm not sure what that means. Did I post something wrong or? Yeah, you can do 100 contracts if you want. Do 1,000 contracts. You know, the idea is that if you can do, let's say, you know, during the morning session, there's a couple of trades that are, you know, based on your price action trading training, right? That are no brainers, you know, in and around Sal's pivot for that day or, you know, one of the other spots. you end up doing more contracts, the more money you bank. But you got to remember that there's more risk in the trade also. Saul's doing more contracts than one, depending on the day. And that's based on his risk profile that he would teach you in his course and his mentoring work. In other words, he would teach you how to identify a day, what makes it a good day or a bad day, and quite frankly, what you should do based on your contract size. So after the cash open, depending on market action activity, then you make that decision. That's a value decision for yourself based on your competence in your trading. Yeah, so each market, so it depends on what's available, right? And what was interesting, and Don mentioned it or alluded to it earlier, is that there's the action of price in between the levels. And that's also taught in the class. In other words, you may get filled right away based on your price, or you may take a little bit to get filled, but the concept is how do you release them back out? Do you release them out and take your 2 points and hold on to some and adjust your stop based on that trade? Based on a further movement of price in your favor? That's all part of the, I think that's why you wanted to go into Saul's course, right? You wanted to know not only the flat answer, but you also want to know the gray area. And that's what happens based on the relationship. Yeah, I mean, that's something that you work out based on your course time and your relationship, your mentoring time, your relationship with Saul, because he would describe that to you and reinforce that with you based on the action of price. How to get filled, when to stop filling, right? When a trade becomes a bad idea. That's all part of it too, right? That's the relationship that happens between you and your teacher. You're evolving into your skill set. You're evolving into your competency. You're evolving based on the action of price over. So it lasts a year. So let's say you signed up with Saul for 22, like today or whatever. You would have the ability to be part of the Trade Along live session as a bonus for a year. And you can stay after, just keep paying the monthly rate. And I always say this too, is that if you're not making your money, like if you didn't make your money today, right? Now today I know the markets are pretty tight, but on a general day, if you don't make enough money to pay for your monthly rate in his Trade Along live session, Trade Along live with Saul session, then what the heck are you doing? Then be part of the his mentoring, right? Yeah, I think you can get there, Kent. You just gotta get yourself in. got to think of more reasons why to get in than get out or to wait. I think that that's the important thing around here is that traders take action. And you have the ability to do that. So tradealonglive.com, tradealonglive.com. Join us on a daily basis. Focused on trading the S&P 500 E-mini futures. Trade Along Live with Saul. We can help you get set up from being a new trader, set off on the right foot, looking for consistent profitability. An experienced trader that is looking to do better based on their trading. We're here to help you do that. We have a full range of offers when it comes to the opportunities here. Focused again on teaching you how to scalp the market for your own gain. And if you like what we're doing here, tell your friends. TradeAlongLive.com is the registration for this Zoom webinar on a daily basis. We start at 9 a.m. We wrap up around 12 noon. We like to be done early based on banking our profit for the day. So let us know how we can help you.